think if I had a dad, I would have went the normal college route and like a lot of other people.
So you're not angry?
I'm so stoked my life panned out how it was.
Tyler, the Creator, is one of the most famous and influential artists, not just in all of hip-hop, but music as a whole. From chart-topping records to Grammy-winning albums, songs with millions of streams, and a loyal fan base, Tyler, the Creator, has almost done everything there is to do in hip-hop and music as a whole. And much of that is thanks to the willingness of fans to accept Tyler, the Creator, and understand him. And in terms of understanding who Tyler, the Creator is as a person and as an artist, there is no better track to look at than the 6th track on Tyler, the Creator's third studio album, Wolf. And to understand why, let's take a deep dive.
Hey Dad, it's me,
The Tyler, the Creator story began on March 6, 1991, when Tyler Okama was born in Hawthorne, California.
Who the hell am I, Mr. Tyler?
In an interview with Timothy Baker, Tyler would describe his childhood as the following. I have no father. My mother was a single parent till I was 15. When she bounced up north without me, I taught myself piano at 14 and started rapping at 7 because I fucking sucked at sports. That was the reality of Tyler's childhood. However, in that very same interview, he also gave an idealized version of what his childhood would have looked like in another universe. A universe where he came up in a very big family. His mom being a teacher, father being a firefighter, having a little sister, and a dog named Steve. A universe where he would have started taking piano lessons at the age of 7 while picking up a pen to learn how to write poems at the age of 10. However, that was not the universe that created Tyler, the Creator. He would never really have the stability that came from a firefighter dad and a mom that is a teacher. Instead, he'd find himself bouncing from school to school in the early part of his childhood. You would find him being kicked out of classes and even being denied the chance of learning music in school. However, that did not stop a young Tyler from chasing his dreams. For however big they might have seemed.
9th grade, they wouldn't let me join band class because I couldn't read music. But I still had the passion, and I'm on 2 instruments now, picking up a 3rd.
Little by little, what started as a kid making his own album covers and track lists turned into a kid in high school freestyling. And that kid in high school would meet other like-minded people, which would lead to the eventual creation of Odd Future.
These are fans of Odd Future who are waiting to meet their heroes at a defunct store off Brick Lane in East London.
You know Odd Future. You're probably a Tyler fan if you're watching this anyways, but in case you aren't, a quick, brief crash course on everything. Odd Future was a music collective, but more than that, it was a collective of friends who shared different interests, whether it was fashion, skateboarding, filmmaking, whatever. Odd Future was your group, and because it was so genuine, it has really been the only music collective of the 2010s that has stood the test of time. And working as the centerpiece was none other than a young Tyler, who now went by the name of Tyler, the Creator. The life of Tyler, the Creator was much different to the real life Tyler's life, by the way, because the Creator side of Mr. Tyler would take part in some of the most vile activities anyone could be involved in throughout the early part of his life. Activities that I can't really say because if I did, John YouTube would pull up to my house and he'd probably kill me on sight for saying those words. So just listen to Troncat, come back to the video, and yeah, that's Tyler, the Creator. But speaking of Mr. YouTube really likes when people subscribe to channels, and I would greatly appreciate it if you guys subscribe to mine. You don't have to, of course. I just think it would be cool if it's too much. If it's too much, then don't do it. Just leave a like. But yeah, back to the video. For however different Tyler Okama and Tyler, the Creator might have been, there was always one element that connected the two in a way that no other element would. And that was, of course, the lack of a father, which became such an identifying characteristic of the two that Tyler's debut mixtape would carry the name Bastard.
My father's dead, why I don't know, we'll never fucking meet.
As you could probably imagine by the opening track and some of the lyrics sprinkled throughout the tape, Tyler hated his father for not being there. Especially with Inglorious being a track where Tyler spends 4 minutes dissing his absentee father and explaining how it affected him.
I was hyper cause I ain't get attention from my real pop.
And how often he was the one who would bounce off the wall to cope with the fact that his dad never showed him attention, just looking for attention wherever he can get it. That was the story of not just Tyler, the Creator, as a character, but Tyler in real life. It really is just something that would infuriate infuriate anybody, and evidently, Tyler the Creator was no different, especially by the time Goblin rolled around, because he would double down on those disses.
He still hasn't called me yet. It's not your fault. But that's a whole fucking different argument.
And even though in Bastard you had those disses that were heartbreaking, in Goblin they're a little more heartbreaking because the dynamic of a father that knows his son is famous and still doesn't reach out to his son is kind of crazy. But then again, that is the introspection that you get from Tyler on this record. A young adult that was hoping that maybe through getting famous his dad would finally reach out to him, and it never happened, and that's just heartbreaking, especially once you get to Wolf and you listen to Answer.
'Cause when I call, I hope you pick up your phone.
In terms of introspective Tyler songs, I think this is the best example of what that looks like, and the most comprehensive in terms of understanding Tyler's relationship to his dad.
See you not being there, fucking fire started my damn career.
Unlike Goblin or Bastard, where he's playing a character, this feels like a genuine attempt at Tyler addressing his dad. A track where even despite the lack of communication between him and his father, he says that if he had the chance, he would definitely like to talk to his dad. And it's such a heartbreaking thing because throughout the whole track, you understand that Tyler hates this man. In many ways, this man is the reason why Tyler turned out the way that he was. Not just from a personality standpoint, but through a physical standpoint as well. And to even have all that anger pumped up inside of you and still want to have a chance to talk to that man, it's a track that really shows how the lack of a father figure can affect someone well into their adulthood. Parents, in many ways, are the foundation of who we are as humans. And not having one of them be there is like missing half of what your foundation is supposed to be. You can definitely hear what the effects of that is in those first few Tyler albums. All the edginess that he carried, all those insults that he threw around, clearly being the effects of not having a dad around. And that's why this track is so important in terms of understanding not just Tyler the Creator as an artist, but Tyler Okuma, the human. And it was after this specific track right here that people began to understand who Tyler was. In many ways, it laid the foundation for albums like Igor and Flower Boy. And it was one of those tracks where it allowed Tyler to speak not as Tyler the Creator, not as Wolf or whoever it may be, but as Tyler the person. And I think that's one of the most valuable things about Tyler the Creator. And for his fans, it's part of why they're so loyal to Tyler the Creator. The genuineness and vulnerability that he shows in his track, speaking to us and letting us in on very personal and introspective moments. However, despite how personal this moment appeared to be, he never owned up to it outside of the record. In an interview with Larry King, he actually said he was stoked that he never met his dad.
Are you mad at him that he desert the family?
Nah, dude, I'm stoked.
And a few years later, in 2016, he tweeted out that he wasn't being genuine in Wolf and that the only reason why he made the song was because people would eat it up. And honestly, it seemed as though that's where it was. Maybe he found closure. Maybe he just didn't care anymore. But Tyler the Creator, for the most part, would just kind of ignore that side of him. That was, of course, until the release of Chromakopia. It's been a week since Tyler the Creator released Chromakopia, but I think it's fair to say it's one of the most introspective albums in the whole entirety of Tyler the Creator's discography. Clearly inspired by an album like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, the theme of this record is really Tyler taking his mask off and rapping from the heart. And perhaps no track reflects that theme more than Like Him. A track where after almost a decade without addressing his insecurities around not having a father, Tyler the Creator finally opens up once more, admitting that sometimes it feels as though he's chasing a ghost. He doesn't know what he looks like, but he wonders sometimes if he looks like him. And the track only gets more heartbreaking with an outro that would change the dynamic that we have for Tyler the Creator's whole entire life. Because we have Tyler the Creator's mom confessing that Tyler the Creator's dad did want to be in his life. She just never allowed him to be. And because of that, it wasn't Tyler's fault. It wasn't Tyler's dad's fault. It was her fault that he was never present. It's a truly heartbreaking moment, but it seems as though everybody misinterpreted why it was heartbreaking. The track isn't heartbreaking because Tyler's dad could have been in his life, but Tyler's mom didn't want him to be. No, in fact, the track is heartbreaking because Tyler's mom believes that. And I know to some of you it may seem weird for me to say this, but in reality, if Tyler's dad wanted to be in his life, he would have tried harder. As established earlier in the video, Tyler's dad knew Tyler was famous. So in theory, even if Tyler's mom was holding him back, there is no such thing as he tried to be in your life, but you've never spoken to him. Outside of maybe speaking to him when he was 12.
Did you ever meet your father?
I think I did at 12, supposedly, but I don't really know. That's what my mom said.
Like, that is just not something that can happen in America. You can try through the legal system. And even Tyler, the creator, is famous as fuck. You know, like, if you wanted to get to him, you could have used the internet or whatever tools you have available to you to get to him. And no one knows this to be true more than Tyler himself. That's why when Tyler's mom is about to go on the rant about, oh, it's not your fault or your father's fault, Tyler shuts her down. That's why he shushes her. The outro of Like Him is not Tyler's mom being a villain. It's Tyler's mom being a victim. And if you don't believe me, then maybe you should listen to the bonus track for Chromakopia, exclusive to the vinyl release of the record.
As a man that I wasn't as planned as some other ideas in his head. I hold no grudges, I heard he a fan.
That track would be called Mother, and he does bring up his dad just this one more time. And shockingly, he even reveals that his dad might be a fan of his. But rather than spending too much time on the parent that was never present, he goes back to hyping up his mom. He said he was raised in a house full of love. The type that people can look at and say she did a good job raising you. And maybe he didn't have a dog named Steve and his dad wasn't a firefighter, but you know what? He had a loving mother. And because he had an empowering parent, a loving parent, he became Tyler the Creator. He didn't become Tyler the Creator because he was missing a dad. He became Tyler the Creator in spite of having a dad that wouldn't talk to him. A dad that doesn't talk to him even till this day. That is the story of Tyler the Creator. And that is truly the value of a good parent. Anyways, I made this video because I feel like too many people are misinterpreting what Like Him is about, and I just felt like we need some love in the air, you know. So shout out to Tyler's mom, shout out to my mom, I love my mom, shout out to y'all, shout out to J Dilla, and shout out to God. And yeah,